Now at 5:30 on WKYT this morning, 2 weeks after being killed in the Brussels terrorist attacks, Stephanie and Justin Schultz will be laid to rest today. More on how they will be remembered coming up.
Also on WKYT this morning, Lexington police say a teenager is now facing charges for sending threatening messages to a former Lexington Catholic student. Just ahead, we'll hear from a mother who says her son also received similar messages.
And Fayette County school leaders are urging parents to talk to their kids about online safety. They say a potential online predator is using a social media app to send inappropriate comments to elementary students.
This is WKYT This Morning.
And Kentucky Morning started right here on WKYT. We're glad you're with us on your Friday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and it's opening day of Keeneland, and like you wouldn't expect, we have a bit of snow maybe this weekend.
Yeah, possibility
for
of some
Keeneland.
snow flurries opening up here on this important time of the year in Kentucky. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. He says finally it warms up, but that's next week.
Yeah,
right?
That's next week, absolutely. I'll tell you this Sunday, though. Sunday looks much better. It's just today and tomorrow are ugly days. They're cold days. They're not very nice. Heading out to Keeneland, people will still be out there. But if you're planning on going one day, if you have one day to go, do it Sunday. Sunday is definitely the better day. Friday and Saturday, today and tomorrow, will be chilly, will be rainy there for your day this afternoon. Temperatures are in the 30s this morning. We hit the afternoon and we're holding on to temperatures in the 40s, and also with that chilly, gusty rain sliding on in. I'm going to show you the hour-by-hour forecast. I'm going to show you when it actually moves in, when you can get out there and actually watch some races in dry weather. That's coming up.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you. The past 2 weeks have been a nightmare, to say the least, for the family members of Lexington native Stephanie Schultz and her husband Justin. But this afternoon, they will make peace as the couple will be laid to rest.
Stephanie and Justin Schultz were among the handful of Americans killed at the Brussels airport on March 22nd when bombs exploded. Their funeral will be at Southland Christian Church in Jessamine County. WKYT's Victor Puente joins us now with more on how the young couple are being remembered.
This is one of at least 2 memorials planned for the couple. They'll be buried here in Kentucky following today's funeral. Justin and Stephanie Schultz were killed last month at the Brussels airport. At the time, they were waiting in the departure gate, saying goodbye to her mother when suicide bombers detonated bombs, killing dozens of people. At first, there was some confusion as to what had happened to the couple, but eventually their bodies were brought back to the United States. Stephanie was from Lexington. Justin was from Tennessee. The visitation today starts at 10 a.m. and runs until 2 when their funeral begins here at Southland Christian Church. They're expecting a big crowd. They've already got the parking lot blocked off. Now, after the funeral, the couple will be buried at Bluegrass Memorial Gardens. Live in Jessamine County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. Lexington police say a teenager is now facing charges for a threat case involving students at Lexington Catholic High School. Police tell us the 17-year-old male has been charged with harassing communications and terroristic threatening. The case has also been referred to the county attorney's office. Denisha Vinegar says her son received race-related threatening messages from a teammate on Lexington Catholic's football team. She says he was threatened with lynching and told to pick cotton to raise money for a school fundraiser. Vinegar says her son has since transferred to another school. But another mother also told us that her child received similar threatening messages. She says she has talked to the school about taking steps to help all students.
Not just the children that's being impacted from the racial perspective and harassment, but the children who's doing this racial harassment, because they need to understand that's not the best practice, and it could very quickly end up in litigation in the real world.
In a statement, Lexington Catholic High School leaders say the threats do not reflect the culture or environment which the school promotes. They say they have also met with students to discuss the dangers of offensive language and social media. In a statement through an attorney last night, Vinegar claimed the school withheld a transcript and demanded more money in retaliation for reporting the incident. She says the family has retained a federal civil rights attorney based in Washington, D.C. You can read her full statement on WKYT.com.
A federal judge hasn't decided whether to release attorney Eric Secon from custody before his trial in a fraud case. The judge postponed the decision during a hearing yesterday after prosecutors said they fear Khan could be a flight risk. They claim his former employees indicated he would leave the country to avoid being prosecuted. Investigators say Khan, psychologist Alfred Atkins, and Social Security Judge David Daughtry worked together to get more than $600 million in federal disability payments for clients. Court documents say Daughtry was arrested earlier this week and has been ordered to undergo a mental evaluation.
We now know some more about a double murder in northern Kentucky. Investigators have identified the victims as 28-year-old Carolyn Tomlinson and 32-year-old Charles Eatman. The neighbors there say they were a couple. They were found dead Wednesday morning at a home in Kenton County. Police have not made an arrest in the case, and they're asking for surveillance video from a neighbor's security camera, hoping that that will provide them more information. Lexington police and Fayette County school leaders have issued a warning about a social media app that is raising a lot of concerns. Police say someone has been using the app ooVoo to make inappropriate comments to several Lansdowne Elementary School students. They say the same person even asked the children for pictures and videos. Investigators fear the person leaving the comments could be an online predator. School leaders are now urging parents to talk to their kids about the importance of online safety.
You just never know who's who, you know. People sit there and, they lower little kids to, to try to hurt them and stuff, and you just really have to talk to them, and you can't really sugarcoat nothing. You got to be straightforward with them, to make sure they understand.
In a letter to parents, the school's principal is asking parents to check their children's phones for the ooVoo app and to report to police if they find anything suspicious on it.
A Johnson County woman says she's grateful for the sheriff's deputy who saved her life. In February, Barbara Daniels says a stove in her home started pouring smoke and she quickly passed out. Neighbors became concerned after they didn't hear from her, so they called police. Johnson County Deputy Terry Tussey showed up and went inside and found Daniel on the floor. He carried her outside to safety. Daniel spent 9 days in the hospital but has recovered. She says she wouldn't be alive without that deputy.
He's just a #1 great person to me, and I thank God for it.
Daniel says she now shares a special friendship with the deputy.
Next week marks the 46th anniversary of the infamous Apollo 13 mission, and the commander of that mission, Captain Jim Lovell, spoke yesterday at an annual dinner that's held at UK. Lovell talked about how he and his crew almost lost all power hundreds of thousands of miles from Earth, cueing the famous line, "Houston, we have a problem." Following his speech, Lovell also signed autographs for those in attendance. 46 years later now, the Apollo 13 mission is still considered one of America's most daring missions in space. And certainly there was a young guy there who got to meet him, an 11-year-old.
Oh, yeah, it was a great story.
Yeah, so you can check that out, by the way, on our website if you want to see more. Well, the 2016 presidential candidates continue to make their case to voters in the Northeast. It's ahead of New York's critical primary.
Ted Cruz and John Kasich are both battling to defeat GOP frontrunner Donald Trump in the upcoming contest, while the war of words between Democrats Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton is heating up. Don Champion reports from New York.
With the contested convention looming, Donald Trump is preparing for a fight. Thursday, he put veteran Republican strategist Paul Manafort in charge of convention preparations and organizing delegates. Trump also picked up the endorsement of former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. On the campaign trail, rival Ted Cruz tried building support in Brooklyn and again clarified comments about so-called New York values.
What that means is the policies of liberal Democratic politicians have been hurting the people of New York for a long, long time.
Running second in New York, John Kasich said he's swaying support from Trump and Cruz.
We're going to pick up delegates here and all over the Northeast and down in Maryland, and we're going to go to a convention.
Ahead of the New York primary, the Democratic race is growing even more heated. In an interview with CBS's Charlie Rose Thursday, Bernie Sanders was unapologetic about saying rival Hillary Clinton is not qualified for president.
If we are getting attacked every single day by the Clinton campaign, I want them to know we're going to respond in kind.
Clinton, who leads Sanders by 10 points in the state, fired back.
I'm going to trust the voters of New York who know me and have voted for me 3 times.
Wyoming will hold a Democratic caucus tomorrow. Don Champion, CBS News, New York.
While there are only 14 delegates on the line for Democrats in Wyoming, 247 are at stake in New York.
Lexington-based Lexmark is reportedly in talks to be bought out by a Chinese company. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, Lexmark has been talking to Apex Technology. But Lexmark officials won't comment on the report. Lexmark said it was exploring a possible sale last fall. And last month, the company announced plans to lay off more than 140 people in Lexington.
So while the weather isn't very spring-like, you can count on plenty of people showing up at Keeneland today.
Spring meet, regardless, right? The 2016 meet begins today. It will run through the end of the month, of course, leading right into Derby season. And our own Mark Barber is already out at the track this morning. Final preparations are wrapping up. The horses are working out, and he joins us with more on Keeneland's opening day. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Yeah, those horses started warming up on the track here in just the past few minutes, and in less than 8 hours, they will line up for the first post and really start heating up this track on this very cold first day of the spring meet here at Keeneland. Now, temperatures are dancing around the freezing mark now, but as the day goes along, things will start to improve, but don't expect things to look great because we are expecting rain to move in this afternoon. Now, while it's going to be a cold and wet, really miserable start to the opening day here at Keeneland, it's opening day here, so we can really handle anything that Mother Nature throws our way, right? One other thing that's really going to help things out today, the fact that it's College Scholarship Day. There are 11 prizes that students can register for, one $10,000 prize, the others all $1,000 prizes. Now, admission is free today for college students who show a photo ID for their college when they enter the gate. Now, those admission fees for all others are $5 at the gate. Those gates open at 11 this morning, and the first race starts just after 1 this afternoon. Now, do keep in mind there are not any races on Monday or Tuesday this month. If you are planning out to watch the races today, you will certainly want to dress for the weather. And ladies, you may want to swap in that parasol for an umbrella and those spring dresses for a raincoat today. Live at a very chilly Keeneland, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, you set the stage quite well out there. It's also College Scholarship Day as well.
Yeah, it's a great day to head out there.
Scholarship, so there
Despite
you go.
the weather.
That's right. Our time this morning is coming up on 5:42, and let's check live drive traffic and see what's going on early this morning. Lots of green out there, no reports of trouble. Remember that Fayette County schools will be in session today. They had planned this as a day off. However, the snow came along back in the winter, and this is a makeup day for snow, so you will have the buses out there a little bit later on. And of course, as Keeneland gets going around the 1 o'clock hour, and then when it closes in the afternoon around 5, anticipate additional traffic out around Versailles Road in the area of the racetrack.
And hopefully it is busy out there, despite the weather.
I bet it will be.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of folks. I mean, if nothing else, just the support group and the employees and people that are needed to pull it off will be out there. Good to have you along Friday morning on WKYT, and we have a lot more on the way. You heard Mark say the horses are off and running.
Still ahead, we'll show you how this jumbo dog went from chunk to hunk.
I can't wait to see that story. I think that was a dog. Snowflakes are possible, but really it's the rain, it's the cold air, gusty winds, a lot to talk about in this forecast, and I'll have that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty chilly air early this morning once again, and we're looking toward the afternoon, and it's still going to be chilly. Here's the deal with today. Start off in the 30s for most. A couple of 32-degree readings right now. No hard freezes out there, and we don't expect that today. And really the next couple of days, these models have been so cold, meaning that it's showing up much colder than what it actually turns out to be. The reason why? Clouds overhead. It's really tough for these weather models to handle some of these clouds. Come in overnight, these clouds make us a little bit warmer. Remember, it's a blanket over us. Keeps it a little bit warmer during the nighttime hours. Here's the breakdown on what's going to be happening throughout the day. First complex, first little impulse, first little piece of energy, whatever you want to call it, slides on in. And it's only a small chance out of this. I expect that to fade away for the most part. But if we do get anything out of this, it's going to be in the next 3 to 4 hours. Then we look toward the north, and there's another piece of energy that's going to slide on in. That is when you see it widespread. Anywhere from 2 to 7 p.m. is your best bet for showers, and it's not mild showers. I mean, these aren't summer showers. This is going to be very chilly there with the rain, especially with those gusty winds flying on in here. Yesterday we reached roughly 50 to 55 degrees. Had those gusty winds, and think of how chilly it was yesterday afternoon. Now drop that 2 to 4 degrees and throw in the winds, throw in some more rain in the forecast. Okay, so there's 1 p.m. That's when the first race starts, right? Or Keeneland opens. You can get out there and knock out that first time, but watch this as we go through the next couple of hours. Then the rain starts to filter on in. Now remember, this is a particular model. This isn't written in stone, okay? So at 1 p.m. you could have still a few showers out there, but I would say 2 to 7 p.m. There's 3 p.m. Watch 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, you're talking about the rain really increasing during that time. So mid to late afternoon is no doubt about it your best chance to see some rain in the forecast. So kids out of school today trying to make up some of those, or actually getting a nice little break from some of those snow days. It's going to be chilly, it's going to be rainy, gusty winds. It's an ugly day, it really is. There's no way to get around that. That's just the fact. We head off toward the evening hours, and still some rain left over, but it's starting to fade. Now watch this as we go throughout the night. There's 1 a.m. Yeah, here come a few snowflakes, and even down toward the southeast, that's where we're holding on to some flakes as well. Do I expect anything out of this? No, I expect a few flakes to fly around. Could we have some on the rooftops or on the cars once you wake up tomorrow morning? It's possible, especially down toward the southeast, but for the most part, no major issues out of this one. So a chilly, gusty, rainy day, especially during the afternoon for today for opening day of Keeneland. People will still be out there, but you better take that coat along with you. And then tomorrow, it's mainly morning, guys, as you get a couple of flakes, especially southeast. But then afternoon is actually a mixture of sun and clouds, but it's going to be cold. So you just better bundle up heading out to any events you have going on Saturday. Sunday, much better.
Well, I was going to say, what a range from the cold of you know, the early Sunday morning up into the mid-60s.
Yeah, 20 Sunday morning, 60s.
What about that? All right, so
wow.
It'll be a fun ride, won't it?
That's right.
All right, thank you. Our time right now is 5:49. Needing some inspiration to lose a little weight? Well, maybe we have it for you here. A story about a dog that went from chunk to hunk.
Yeah, just 8 months ago, Fat Vincent was a jumbo-sized wiener. Oh my goodness, is that real? The jumbo-sized wiener dog weighing 38 pounds. Vincent had high cholesterol and was depressed. His owner had died, and he'd been left at a county animal shelter. But Canine Angels Rescue of Houston took him in, and now he's back to loving life. With the help of water aerobics and walks, Fat Vincent has trimmed down to, check that out, 17 pounds. And now he's almost ready for his forever home. He just needs to lose 1.5 pounds more to reach his goal weight.
Well, he is getting there. I'll tell you what, that is inspiration for everybody from a dog. What about that? All right, it's looking good. 5:50 now. It's 10 till 6 on WKYT This Morning.
Coming up, you'll get the stories making news at this hour.
We'll check traffic again. We'll see how things are moving along, what's hot on the web and social media. Our top stories on the way in just minutes here on WKYT. Good morning. It's your Friday, April 8th. We're glad you're with us on WKYT at 5:53.
Let's take a look at some of the stories we're working on at this hour.
A Lexington native and her husband who were killed in the Brussels terror attacks will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Stephanie and Justin Schultz will begin at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Southland Christian Church in Jessamine County. The couple will be buried at Bluegrass Memorial Gardens.
And don't let the cold weather fool you. Keeneland's spring meet begins today and runs through the end of the month. Gates open at 11 o'clock and the first race begins at 1. A manhunt is underway in Washington state for a violent felon who's still on the run. 28-year-old murder suspect Anthony Garver broke out of a mental facility Wednesday along with 58-year-old Mark Alexander Adams. Adams was recaptured Wednesday morning. Researchers in Boston have identified a new set of genes that may be responsible for causing stroke and dementia.
Doctors say the finding could lead to therapeutic and preventive strategies as well.
And most states are dropping the ball when it comes to keeping students active and fit. A new report finds 62% of states allow students to substitute other activities for gym class. Now, only 19 states set a minimum amount of time for physical education. National guidelines recommend kids get at least an hour of moderate physical activity each day. Let's get a check this hour. Today's traffic trouble spots with live drive traffic. And a lot of green out there, so if you're about to head out the door, all is looking great for you. Time to check what's making news online this morning with Bill.
Well, on WKYT.com, of course, we have all the latest for you. We'll be here with you all weekend long, updating the information. A chilly day for the opening day at Keeneland, and you'll find Micah's updated weekend forecast right up top right now. The Lexington area saying goodbye to Stephanie and Justin Schultz, who were killed on the other side of the world in a terrorist attack. They'll be remembered later on today. Be sure to check out the video story of an 11-year-old boy who got to meet an American hero. Michael Rushing is one who got to enjoy astronaut Jim Lovell's visit to Lexington. Captain Lovell remembered for his heroic acts as Apollo 13 went from near tragedy to triumph. A story that has been getting a lot of clicks on our website all week long has been that huge alligator that was killed on a hunt in Florida on a farm there. It's remarkable size, grabbing all sorts of attention throughout the week. On Kentucky.com, despite the cold, it was a nice home opener for the Lexington Legends. Basketball standout Alex Porthras signed autographs and also threw out the first ceremonial pitch. The Legends beat the Blue Claws 7-4 to open up their season. Also, Country Boy Brewery is remembering the legendary Merle Haggard, who died this week. They've stamped a batch of their brew with Haggard's name right on the bottom. And CBS This Morning is coming up at 7 with your eye opener. And of course, we'll have local updates as well. Hey, join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and for the latest anytime, WKYT.com.
Well, we're looking good this morning in terms of nothing falling out of the sky. However, that will change as we go through the day. 30s this morning. We finish off in the 40s this afternoon. It's going to be cold, windy, and also rainy later on today. I'm going to show you that and your weekend forecast coming up with another hour of WKYT News. We'll see you then.